Hi everyone, it's Juniper from Massage Myofascial Release. Today I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the fascia. The fascia is the organ of form. It creates our form. It's a body net that encompasses everything inside our body. It's basically the body's system of space or negative space. So we have the body full of bones and organs and muscles, and the fascia is everything that weaves it all together and everything in between. So its job is to connect everything, and that's why it's called the connective tissue, but it's also to separate everything. It comes in all different shapes and forms within the body, so it has different densities. The fascia inside the belly is called the visceral fascia, and it's the more kind of goopy fascia that just kind of separates all of the organs of the body, and so that they don't fall on top of each other and smash each other, and just creates a system of space, like I said, the negative space. The intermuscular fascia penetrates into the muscles, and when we lie on the massage balls, we are compressing the tissue, which gets the fascia within the muscles to release and to hydrate and to soften. So this is why massage is so effective. We also have fascia that looks like bands, so also differing in density and fibrousness. Your IT band would be an example of this kind of fascia. But today the fascia that I'm going to talk about is the superficial fascia. So the superficial fascia looks more like this. It's a layer right beneath your skin, and you can see how saran wrap sticks to itself. This is exactly perfect metaphor for what happens in the superficial fascia. So it wraps around the muscle, and it's right below the skin, and again it's creating a system of space, something to separate the skin from the muscle. And it also should have a lot of glide, so your skin should lift away from your muscle easily. If it doesn't, then it's adhered, and that's what we mean when we talk about adhesions. This is also what we mean. It can really literally become adhesed like this underneath your skin, which then stops your circulation, it stops your innervation, and it creates distortions, which is what leads me to my next visual prop. These distortions can lead to cellulite. So this is a net. This is here to represent what our fascia looks like. It's kind of a net surrounding all the muscles. And the marshmallows in the net represent the fat. As we become more sedentary, as our fascial system becomes more dehydrated, the more sort of fibrous it gets, and it becomes sort of like an exoskeleton holding us in place. This exoskeleton shows our habits and our history. So this is what we see when we have bad posture, when we get sort of distortions in certain areas of the body. So if I pull on this, and you can see that the marshmallow just kind of presses through the net and creates a little bumpy surface. And this is what cellulite is. Cellulite happens to everyone. 90% of women have cellulite. It doesn't matter if you're a small-framed person or a large person, you're still going to get cellulite if your fascia is unhealthy. There are certain areas of the body where it tends to get more unhealthy, and one of those is here, what we call saddlebags, because we sit on that tissue so much, it becomes kind of more fibrous and kind of just begins to collect fat, and then eventually the fat sort of presses through the net and it becomes kind of bumpy. And also the other place that's really common, these were two specifically of my issues that I've been working on for about a year now. So it's not an easy fix. It's something that you work with, kind of continually. I think the key to connective tissue is continuity. Maybe every other day, but just for a few minutes a day. It doesn't take that long. So I'm going to show you what I did, but My problem areas on my thighs were specifically those saddlebags. I'm not sure if you can see them, but they're gone. That's why you can't see them. I've been working them out. And then the other place was actually where a lot of people get it, is underneath the knee, which you can tell, you could see why you would get adhesions under the knee, because it's a hinge joint, and so it's constantly closing and getting these adhesions, and then it gets all kind of funky underneath in the thigh area. So I've been working on that area as well. So actually I have eradicated spider veins in that area, which I had starting, and that was another reason why I went so deeply into this, was because I didn't want to have saddlebags and I didn't want to have spider veins, so I just went for it. And the way that I got rid of both of those things was by using oil and this fascia scrubber. That's what I did. I also incorporated a little bit of strap strengthening to strengthen the muscles once I softened up the tissue in that area. So I'm just going to quickly show you what I did. It's not rocket science, really. It's just very intuitive. You always use oil because you don't want any friction on your skin. And let me see if I can figure out, I don't know whether you guys can see me or not. So usually I place my leg up so that it's right there for me to use the tool on, and I'll place some oil on the area that I'm going to work. So this would be an example of how I would work the IT band and the saddlebags, which is right underneath here, where a lot of times fat will collect. So I'll take the fascia scrubber and begin by just going cross-lateral across the IT band. Right along this area, and this is light and brisk what I'm doing here. It's just an awakening to get the tissue to wake up, and when you see that the blood has risen to the top of the skin, starts to turn a little pink, then you'll know that you're ready to move into the next phase. So as it starts to soften up, I'm digging in just a little bit deeper, just creating a little bit more pressure to get in there. And then once it feels like it's starting to soften, then I'll switch and I'll go the opposite way. So going with the grain of the band, the IT band. So getting this line here is the first and most important for getting nice definition in the thigh. So we start with that. And ideally, you want to get the muscles of the front thigh and the muscles of the back thigh to kind of separate away from the band a little bit so that you can see that nice line. So when you're ready to do that, you would just tip the scrubber down and peel down the thigh. Scrub it out. You can go either direction, this way or this way. And that's what I'm saying, it's very intuitive. You just kind of feel it. And after a while, like I said, you really can feel it. Like you can feel where it needs some work. And it will also indicate by turning pretty pink in those areas. So you'll tip it, peel it down the thigh. So I don't know if you guys can see, but it's turning quite pink right in this area. So if you want to get in deeper and specifically into the saddlebags, you just come underneath and scrub. And then you can do the same thing under here. You can feel these tendons. They feel like cords. You would go along with them, along the grain. Get all the tissue around them to sort of soften up, and then tip it and peel it, coming down underneath the knee and all the way down to the insertion. So that's just a quick demo of what I would do to just kind of wake up that area in particular for the saddlebags. And of course for the IT band. And then on the other side, on the inner side, is the same basic thing, and this is where I was experiencing all the adhesions on the inner knee, and it can be really tender when you work it. So you start again really soft, light, and you go across laterally, so again against the grain, and with light brisk pressure. Once you start to get a sense for it, then you flip it, go more with the grain, and then just begin to tip and peel all the way down. So that's kind of a quick tutorial on some of the things that I've done to reclaim or take my body back. Also, afterwards, you always just want to flush it. Just kind of take your hands and use your own hands to flush it down. That way you start to get a sense for what the fascia feels like when it feels healthy. Ideally, you want to be able to pull your skin away from your muscle. So, starting to become much more healthy, my skin is peeling away from the muscle a lot easier than it did when I first started. But it's something that you just kind of work at. And so I just wanted to share that with you and let you know that you can take your body back even from cellulite. So I'll talk to you and see you in the next one.